20 Truths About Life You Must Know Before It's Too Late, read and published by Mr. Books. Life is an intricate tapestry woven from countless experiences, relationships, and dreams. It's a journey filled with moments of profound joy and deep sorrow, subtle wisdom and sudden awakenings. Yet in the rush of everyday existence, we often overlook the truths that shine beneath the surface of our routines. We chase deadlines, worry about appearances, strive to please others, and sometimes forget to listen to our own hearts. This book, 20 Truths About Life You Must Know Before It's Too Late, is your invitation to pause, reflect, and discover the essence of what truly matters before time slips through your fingers. The truths shared in these pages are not just lessons. They are lived experiences, distilled from decades of reflection and observation. They are the guiding lights that can help you navigate the storms and celebrate the sunshine. Whether you are at the start of your journey or well along the path, these truths have the power to shift your perspective, kindle hope, and inspire action. As you read, you may find echoes of your own story within these chapters. You'll learn that striving to please everyone is a recipe for exhaustion and disappointment. Instead, authenticity is your greatest gift to the world. You'll discover how your mindset shapes your reality, how giving transforms both the giver and receiver, and how inner peace is the most valuable achievement you can aspire to. Living in the present, cherishing today rather than worrying about tomorrow, is a practice that will help you tap into the fullness of life. Each section invites you to dig deeper, offering tools, anecdotes, and practical steps to embrace these truths. The warm, gentle tone will guide you lovingly, like a wise friend walking beside you. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to forget what matters most. This book is your reminder that even in the most ordinary moments, extraordinary lessons are waiting to be learned. Before it's too late, allow yourself the gift of reflection. Step into these pages with an open heart. Let the truths within resonate and take root. You deserve a life that is authentic, peaceful, fulfilled, and rich in meaning. Let's begin this journey together, one truth at a time. Truth 1. Life is shorter than you think. Life unspools rapidly, often swifter than our capacity to grasp its enormity. The ticking of the clock, the turn of seasons, and even the unexpected grey in one's hair are reminders. The span we are given on this earth is finite, sometimes heartbreakingly short. This truth, almost universally acknowledged yet rarely internalized, urges us to confront both the beauty and brevity of our existence. Consider a sunrise. Its splendor captivates, but within moments, the colors fade, replaced by the ordinary light of day. Life mirrors this phenomenon. Childhood feels endless until it's gone. Youth is vibrant until one day it is a memory. The passage from the innocence of adolescence to the responsibilities of adulthood tumbles swiftly, and later years beckon before we have truly reflected upon their approach. Why, then, do many of us live as if we have unlimited tomorrows? It is a paradox, aware that our time is marked, yet falling into the drift of procrastination or the comfort of routine. We delay dreams, postpone forgiveness, and defer adventures to someday, a day that may never arrive. This chapter invites you to break the illusion of permanence. It calls you to examine the limitations of time, not as a sentence, but as a clarion call, a reason to act, to love, to create, to pursue that which sets your soul alight. Each hour holds within it 1,000 possibilities. Each day is a precious, unrepeatable gift. Throughout history, sages and philosophers have echoed this truth. Seneca declared that life is long if you know how to use it, reminding us that it is not merely the years we are counting, but the moments we fill with meaning. The brevity of life is not a reason to despair, but rather a motivator to live intentionally. Imagine your life as an hourglass. As grains slip inexorably through, each one represents opportunity, choice, and the potential for joy. Within this awareness lies a transformative power. When you grasp that life's brevity is a universal equalizer, affecting all regardless of wealth, status, or ambition, it can spark a radical clarity. What do you wish to achieve before your sands settle? Who do you wish to become? What regrets do you wish to avoid? Living with this truth at your core can shift your priorities. Tasks that once consumed your attention may fall away in favor of deeper pursuits. You might find the courage to say yes to love, no to distractions, and now to opportunities. The first step in harnessing life's brief span is to regard it not with fear, but with an urgency to create, connect, and savor. The brevity of life also sharpens gratitude. Ordinary days reveal themselves as extraordinary. Laughter shared, meals savored, walks beneath the sky. By embracing this truth, you can elevate the mundane to the sacred, cherishing what is often overlooked. Yet the fear of mortality, when acknowledged, need not immobilize. Rather, it can fuel your resolve to mend fractured relationships, to explore unknown paths, to leave a legacy vibrant with meaning. The greatest gift of understanding that life is shorter than you think is the permission to live unreservedly, not just for milestones, but for every day. As you finish this chapter, I invite you to reflect, if this day were your last, what would you seize? Whom would you hold? What courage would you summon? Let life's brevity inspire your boldness. Truth 2, health is wealth, don't waste it. Of all possessions, health is the most foundational. Without it, the riches of the world lose their luster. With it, even modest circumstances become tenable and potentially joyful. Health underscores every pursuit, woven quietly into the background of careers, relationships, ambitions, and dreams. Its importance revealed acutely only when it falters. It is easy, particularly in youth, to take vitality for granted. The body heals swiftly, strength seems inexhaustible, and illness a distant concern. Yet with time, the equilibrium shifts, and the truth emerges. Neglected health exacts a toll impossible to pay with any currency but time and pain. To view health as wealth is to recognize its multidimensional qualities. Physical well-being fuels energy. Mental health shapes perception and decision-making. Emotional stability anchors resilience. The absence of any of these renders the pursuit of fulfillment challenging, if not impossible. Society often equates wealth with financial prosperity, yet history and experience show otherwise. Think of the stories where fortunes crumble without health, where beauty fades in the shadow of chronic pain, where ambition withers beneath the weight of anxiety or disease. The most lavish palace cannot comfort a suffering body. This chapter implores you to guard your health as you would your dearest treasure. Nutrition, movement, sleep, and mindfulness become acts of self-respect, not chores. Regular exercise increases not only physical stamina, but mental clarity. Balanced meals fortify longevity. Sleep restores the worn threads of the mind and body. There is wisdom, too, in preventative care, routine checkups, early intervention, and listening to your body's signals. Illness is not always avoidable, but vigilance and care can mitigate its reach. Even more subtle forms of health, like mental and emotional balance, deserve attention. Practices like meditation, journaling, and authentic communication can cleanse your internal landscape as surely as physical exercise strengthens the muscles. Often, the pursuit of success, status, or productivity incites neglect, skipped meals, sleepless nights, persistent stress. But what is the value of achievement if your health is compromised? It is a hollow success, a fleeting moment won at the expense of enduring wellness. The integration of health into your daily ritual is a testament to self-love. It signals to yourself and those around you, I am worth sustaining. Imagine if, instead of chasing wealth, you invested first in nourishing your body and mind. Longevity, satisfaction, and vitality would extend your opportunity to savor life's offerings. Health also illuminates the value of moderation. A life of excess, whether in work, pleasure, or consumption, can be as harmful as deprivation. Balance is the art that weaves together discipline and enjoyment, safeguarding you from both burnout and stagnation. Beyond the personal, tending to your health radiates outward. Your ability to contribute, care, and connect with others hinges upon the vessel through which you express yourself. A healthy life becomes a foundation for compassion, service, and the pursuit of the greater good. In closing, let this truth inspire reverence for your own well-being. Treat your body as the sacred home of your soul. Honor the intricacies of your mind. Cherish the stability of your emotions. Health is the river that carries you along life's journey, clear, strong, and ever deserving of your protection. Truth 3. Time is your most precious currency. Time, elusive yet absolute, courses through every chapter of life as the single resource never replenished. Unlike money, possessions, or even relationships, time flows only in one direction. The value of a minute, an hour, a day cannot be measured except in retrospect, and therein lies its profound worth. From our earliest moments, time quietly weaves our experiences together, a silent ledger without margin for error or waste. It witnesses our joys and heartbreaks, our triumphs and lessons. Yet too often, people barter their hours for trivial pursuits, distractions, or obligations not aligned with their deepest aspirations. To see time as currency is to acknowledge its immense purchasing power. Every choice is a transaction, the allocation of attention, energy, and presence. The dividends of mindful spending can yield fulfillment, growth, and cherished memories, while reckless squandering results in regret and emptiness. Where do you spend most of your time? Does it reflect your values, your dreams, or external pressures and fleeting entertainment? The candor of this reflection reveals not just the course of your days, but the trajectory of your life. Society often celebrates busyness, packed schedules, endless multitasking as evidence of productivity or importance. Yet genuine richness flows from intentional presence. Time poured into relationships, learning, creativity, and self-care returns quietly but abundantly. Time lost to obligations or anxieties rarely repays its cost. This chapter is a call for awareness. Begin each day with the clarity that your hours are numbered and invaluable. The habit of prioritization transforms time from a relentless adversary into a cherished ally. What if each morning you name the 3 most essential ways to spend your time? What if each evening you reflected, was it invested well or wasted? Technology and entertainment vie ceaselessly for your attention. The allure of screens, constant updates, and digital noise can erode the present. Guard your minutes as fiercely as your money. Make conscious choices about what deserves your focus. Create boundaries, cultivate silence, and cherish the company of your own thoughts as a daily discipline. Invest time generously where it multiplies: relationships, service, learning, and play. Each intentional act sown into your timeline grows into a richer existence. Carve space for reflection, for laughter, for rest. Let go of guilt for not doing more. Doing what matters will always be enough. Time's passing is inevitable, but its meaning is determined by you. Imagine your life as a mosaic, each moment a tile. With careful intention, the pattern emerges not chaotically, but beautifully arranged. In the end, what will your mosaic reveal? Let this truth orient your daily decisions. Measure not your worth by hours, spent in pursuit of another's approval, but in the moments that authentically nourish you and those you love. Time is the currency that cannot be saved, only spent wisely. May you spend yours as though every moment is both a beginning and a conclusion, deserving of your fullest presence. Truth 4. Happiness comes from within, not from things. Amidst the cacophony of advertisements and culture, one myth persists stubbornly, that happiness can be bought, earned, or possessed. Treasure, fame, acquisition, accolades, these external tokens promise joy, but invariably deliver only fleeting satisfaction. The deepest, most enduring happiness is found not in things, but within. This inner reservoir of joy is independent of circumstance, wealth, or status. Children, often possessing little no delight in simple wonders, a butterfly, a story, a game. Elders, stripped of youth's vitality and material pursuits, discover joy in memories, companionship, and presence. The lesson that happiness arises from within is not just philosophical, it's practical and urgently needed. Why do we chase happiness externally? Societal conditioning, insecurities, and comparison feed the belief that the latest thing, a car, a promotion, a relationship, will fill our inner void. Yet invariably these fulfill only momentarily, then recede, demanding new replacements in an endless cycle of consumption. This chapter extends an invitation. Look inward. Joy, peace, contentment, they flourish in the soil of your own attitudes, beliefs, and self-care. Authentic happiness is cultivated by gratitude, purpose, connection, and acceptance. It requires the courage to sit quietly with oneself, to understand thoughts and emotions, and to heal wounds rather than distract from them. Gratitude transforms perception, revealing abundance in what is often overlooked. Purpose infuses even mundane acts with meaning, anchoring happiness in daily intention. Relationships, too, provide a mirror, reflecting both joy and sorrow, but ultimately reminding us we are not alone. Material possessions, while enjoyable, cannot substitute for inner fulfillment. The newest purchase soon becomes old. Success, while sweet, must be sustained by internal wholeness. Without self-love and acceptance, happiness remains elusive, always one achievement away. Inner happiness is not an abdication of ambition, but a recalibration. It allows goals to be pursued joyfully rather than as desperate attempts to prove worth. Only when you cultivate your inner landscape do external circumstances lose their sway. Mindfulness, gratitude practices, self-compassion, and emotional authenticity are fertile grounds for happiness. By nurturing these within, every experience, joyful or challenging, can be integrated into a resilient sense of well-being. As you absorb this truth, ask yourself, in what moments do you feel most alive? What inner practices bring you peace and joy, even when life's storms rage? May your pursuit of happiness be an inward journey, a sanctuary untouched by the changing tides of fortune. Truth 5. Failure is the best teacher. Failure, a word laden with fear and shame for many, is in truth life's premier instructor. It reveals limits, teaches humility, exposes flaws, and demands adaptation. While the sting of disappointment is real, it is through falling short that the greatest growth emerges. From infancy, learning occurs through error. A child stumbles before walking, mispronounces before speaking, struggles before succeeding. The world applauds achievement, but each milestone is built upon a foundation of failed attempts. The most innovative thinkers, the bravest leaders, the most accomplished artists, all have faced setbacks, each time extracting invaluable lessons. This chapter reframes failure from curse to blessing. Every mistake offers feedback, an invitation to refine, improve, and evolve. Growth is not linear. It zigzags through error, frustration, and eventual triumph. The discomfort of failure, when accepted, breaks complacency and spurs reinvention. Fear of failure paralyzes ambition, stifles creativity, and fuels avoidance. Yet when embraced, failure becomes transparent, revealing what does not work and therefore what might. The willingness to risk, to try, to fall and rise again is the essence of progress. Reflect upon your own setbacks. What did they teach that success could not? Perhaps perseverance, patience, empathy, or ingenuity. These are assets forged in the crucible of difficulty, durable and irreplaceable. Society often equates failure with inadequacy, but history debunks this myth. From Edison's countless failed bulbs to Rowling's rejected manuscripts, the world's breakthroughs have emerged from relentless trial. True failure lies only in refusing to attempt. Learning from failure requires humility and reflection. It urges you to ask not what went wrong, but what can I do differently? Mistakes become stepping stones only for those willing to look with honesty and hope. Failure also tempers ego, fostering empathy. When we have struggled, we extend greater kindness to others on similar paths. This shared experience builds connection, support, and community, essential elements for flourishing. Adopting this truth liberates you from perfectionism. It affirms that falling short is not an endpoint but a process, sometimes painful, always instructive. Embrace failure, learn its language, and let it guide you toward mastery. Remember, the most profound wisdom arrives not with success, but with defeat. The heart expands, courage deepens, and horizons widen when failure is welcomed as a teacher. Your greatest growth lies beyond your comfort zone, waiting for you to take the next imperfect step. Truth 6. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. Ambition drives many, pursuing titles, accolades, wealth, and recognition. Yet lurking beneath these dazzling outcomes is a subtler, more vital measure: fulfillment. Success, absent this inner resonance, hollows into dissatisfaction, alienation, or even despair. Fulfillment is the soul of success. Without it, achievement is empty. What is success? For some, it is career advancement. For others, creative mastery, financial freedom, or family harmony. Yet countless stories attest to the agony of reaching goals only to discover a void within. Accomplishments unaligned with personal values, passions, or authentic purpose. This chapter probes the difference between external success and inner satisfaction. True fulfillment arises from coherence, living in harmony with one's deepest beliefs, contributing meaningfully, experiencing growth, and nurturing connection. When achievement is married to fulfillment, life resonates. When severed, emptiness ensues. Society prizes visible triumphs, promotions, wealth, influence. Rarely does it honor satisfaction, meaning, or peace. The danger emerges when you pursue another's definition of success while neglecting your own. The applause of others is gratifying but short-lived. Fulfillment is enduring and deeply personal. How then to cultivate fulfillment amidst success? Begin by clarifying your values. What truly matters to you? What contributions, relationships, and experiences bring joy? Align your goals not solely with external rewards, but with the kind of life you wish to inhabit. Fulfillment requires presence. The journey itself, its lessons, connections, and moments of awe, often matters more than the destination. Cherish each step, letting meaning arise along the way. Rather than deferring happiness for an elusive finish line, consider the stories of those who had it all but felt empty. The executive with wealth but no peace. The artist with fame but no purpose. The antidote is authenticity. Living and striving in accord with your deepest truths, allowing fulfillment to illuminate each success. Service, growth, gratitude, and connection are cornerstones of fulfillment. When achievements are woven into the broader tapestry of contribution and self-discovery, life flourishes. In closing, heed this truth. Let fulfillment guide your ambitions, ensuring that every victory nourishes your spirit as much as your reputation. Success without fulfillment is a mirage. Chase what truly sustains you. Truth 7. Relationships shape the quality of your life. We are at our core relational beings. Connections with others provide the context in which life unfolds, shaping happiness, meaning, health, and resilience. The quality of your relationships determines the tone of your days, coloring your experience with joy, comfort, support, or sorrow. From birth, bonds with family, friends, mentors, and partners nurture identity and purpose. Isolation, conversely, erodes well-being, frays confidence, and dims hope. The memories cherished most often center on the presence of others, the laughter shared, the solace received. This chapter explores the transformative power of relationships. Deep friendships and loving families offer sanctuary and challenge, inspiration and accountability. Even brief encounters, a smile, a kind word, can ripple outward, changing the course of your day. Yet relationships require care. They thrive upon communication, empathy, honesty, and forgiveness. Neglect, misunderstanding, or pride corrodes their foundation, often with lasting effects. The art of relationship is listening, to understand rather than judge, to see rather than ignore, to appreciate rather than take for granted. Vulnerability, sharing hopes, fears, dreams, invites intimacy and resilience. Boundaries, too, matter. Each person must feel safe, honoring both their needs and those of others. Relationships evolve. Some deepen with time, others fade. Letting go is as important as holding on. Cherish those who lift you up. Release those who drain your spirit. Society sometimes glorifies independence, but communal support sustains us. Shared burdens lighten the load. Triumphs multiply when celebrated together. Invest in relationships as you would in your own well-being, for the two are inextricably linked. Technology can connect or distance. Use it to strengthen bonds, not replace genuine presence. Seek moments offline, shared meals, walks, conversations imbued with attention. Conflict is inevitable. Approach it with compassion, refusing blame. Seek understanding and reconciliation. The ability to repair ruptures distinguishes resilient relationships. Ultimately, your life's quality is measured not in possessions or achievements, but in the love, respect, and unity you cultivate. At journey's end, the people who have walked beside you stand as your greatest legacy. Let this truth inspire attention, gratitude, and devotion to those who surround you. For in the tapestry of relationships, life's richest colors are woven. Truth 8. Money is a tool, not the goal. Money. For so many of us, this simple 5-letter word carries a weight far heavier than what a wallet can hold. It's entangled in our sense of security, our dreams, even our very sense of self-worth. But what if the narrative we've inherited, one that tells us to chase, hoard, and even fear money, is leading us off course? What if, instead, we released money from its pedestal and learned to hold it simply for what it is, a tool, not the ultimate goal? Let's rewind. The earliest exchanges of humanity were not about accumulating piles of wealth, but about survival and connection. Barter, then coins, then paper bills, all created as a bridge between needs and resources, as a way to facilitate the flow of life. Somewhere along the winding path of civilization, though, the tool became the trophy. Money became not just a means, but the very measure of success. Yet, look closer. True fulfillment rarely comes to those who accumulate the most, but to those who understand purpose. Numerous studies have shown that beyond a certain threshold, once basic needs are met, more money adds remarkably little to our happiness. The reason? Because what we crave most isn't money itself, but what it represents: security, opportunity, freedom, and sometimes simply validation. The danger is when money becomes a substitute for these deeper needs, when the pursuit of more overshadows everything else. We work longer hours, neglecting relationships and health. We measure ourselves and others by income or possessions, even as joy and contentment slip away. And all the while we risk missing life's most essential riches: connection, gratitude, purpose, love. So how can we reclaim a healthy relationship with money? First, by declaring it a servant, never a master. It's there to help us live our values, not define those values. This requires conscious reflection. Ask yourself, how much is enough for me? The answer will differ from person to person, but clarity here brings peace. Consider, too, how you spend your money. Does your spending align with your values? Are you investing in experiences and relationships that nurture you, or in fleeting pleasures that quickly fade? Are you using money to alleviate fear, or as a vehicle for generosity and growth? Researcher Elizabeth Dunn and her team discovered that spending money on others, gifts, charity, shared experiences, consistently boosts happiness more than spending for personal gain. They dubbed this the pro-social spending effect. When money is directed toward kindness, it transforms from a neutral currency to a source of interconnected joy. Of course, responsible stewardship matters. Living below your means, saving for the unexpected, and giving back are habits that turn money into a reliable ally. But none of it truly matters if your heart is imprisoned by anxiety or greed. Try this. Write a money mission statement. What do you want your money to enable in your life? What legacy do you hope it leaves? Maybe it's freedom to travel, support for loved ones, the ability to give generously, or simply peace of mind. Keep this statement somewhere visible. Let it remind you that money is there to serve your higher goals. Finally, remember the stories that seldom make headlines. Everyday people who live simply, give generously, and find joy in ordinary moments. They are proof that money, approached wisely, amplifies what already fills your heart. Used poorly, it can hollow you out. So as you move forward, ask yourself daily, is money my tool, or am I becoming its servant? Reimagine money, not as life's finish line, but as the toolkit that empowers you to build a meaningful, joyful, and connected existence. With this mindset, abundance will take on a whole new meaning. Truths. Gratitude changes everything. Gratitude is much more than a polite thank you. It's a way of seeing, a conscious choice to center the good, even when shadows loom. Many of us live amid abundance, but feel scarcity closing in. We're bombarded with reasons to lament what's missing, to compare, to wish for more. Yet what if we paused just long enough to notice the everyday miracles quietly unfolding in our lives? Psychologists have found that gratitude is a powerful antidote to anxiety, depression, and loneliness. It isn't about ignoring pain or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, gratitude is the art of holding both joy and sorrow, celebrating the light even as we acknowledge the dark. It is, quite simply, how we break free from the prison of not enough. Consider this. Every morning you wake up is a small miracle. The warmth of a loved one's hug, a shared laugh, a meal that fills not just your stomach but your soul. These are treasures, often invisible until we lose them. Many world traditions remind us you don't know what you've got till it's gone. But what if we could know now and savor it? Gratitude changes our story. When we pause to give thanks, even for a single thing each day, our brains actually rewire toward optimism. The more we look for blessings, the more we find. This is not magical thinking. It's neuroscience. Positive psychologist Dr. Robert Emmons has shown that people who keep gratitude journals experience more positive emotions, sleep better, and face challenges with resilience. But gratitude isn't passive. It's an active practice. Here's a simple ritual you can begin today. Each evening, write down 3 things you're thankful for. They need not be grand. The sun shone through my window. A friend checked in. I finished a hard task. Over time, you'll find the list grows and deepens. Gratitude also transforms relationships. When we express appreciation for a partner's patience, a friend's loyalty, or a stranger's kindness, we strengthen bonds and build trust. Our words become seeds of joy in the lives of others. Maybe you're facing a hard season. Gratitude doesn't deny pain, but offers a lifeline, a reminder that goodness persists even in hardship. It can be as simple as noticing breath, shelter, or the taste of a cup of tea. These anchors remind us, I am still here and life still offers gifts. Our culture often equates gratitude with complacency, as if to be grateful is to stop striving. But true gratitude fuels ambition. Healthy, heart-driven ambition, because it's rooted in gladness, not desperation. Contentment allows you to pursue dreams with open hands, not clenched fists. As you journey through life, gratitude will be your constant companion if you choose. Make it a practice. Share it generously. And watch as your perception of your world shifts, not because the world has changed, but because you have. Truths 10. Comparison steals your joy. Picture this. You wake up feeling content, but 5 minutes scrolling through social media later, you're doubting your job, your appearance, even your worth. It's a familiar trap and one of the most insidious enemies of happiness. Comparison, especially in our hyper-connected world, so often robs us of the peace and satisfaction we earned through our own effort. Why do we compare in the first place? At its root, comparison is our mind's attempt to find belonging and direction. We're social creatures, wired to observe, imitate, and adapt. But in an era where everyone shares only their highlights, this instinct can warp into chronic dissatisfaction. We compare our behind the scenes with everyone else's front stage and always come up lacking. The real tragedy isn't that we compare, but what it costs us: joy, gratitude, even a sense of our own unique gifts. When comparison starts to dominate our thinking, it's as if we're running a race against people on totally different tracks, without ever stopping to ask where we actually want to go. So how do we break free from this exhausting cycle? The antidote is consciousness, becoming aware of when comparison creeps in and questioning its assumptions. Are you measuring your value by someone else's journey, achievements, or style? If so, pause and redirect your gaze. Remember, only you can live your story. One empowering practice is to use comparison as inspiration, not competition. If you admire someone's successes, ask what you can learn rather than letting envy fester. Everyone travels a path filled with invisible struggles, doubts, and setbacks. We see the destination, rarely the distance traveled. Cultivating self-compassion is vital. Instead of berating yourself for not measuring up, celebrate progress and effort. Your journey, with all its detours and delays, is valid and meaningful. Affirmations like, "I am enough as I am," or "My path is unique," anchor you when comparison tempts you away from self-acceptance. Set boundaries around triggers. Unfollow, mute, or limit exposure to accounts and situations that stir up negative comparison. Instead, seek spaces, online and offline, that celebrate authenticity and growth, not perfection or status. Finally, gratitude fortifies you against comparison's bite. When you intentionally notice what's good in your own life, your gaze shifts back to your blessings, your opportunities, your wins. The joy you seek is not found by measuring what you lack, but by cherishing who you already are and becoming who you wish to be on your own terms. Truths 11. Self-discipline equals freedom. When most people hear self-discipline, they conjure images of rigid routines, denied pleasures, or a joyless grind. But what if self-discipline is actually the path to your deepest freedom and satisfaction? What if, rather than confining, discipline is the very key that unlocks your most authentic self? Let's start by defining self-discipline not as deprivation, but as alignment. Choosing actions that are in harmony with your values and long-term hopes. Imagine your future self looking back on today. Will they thank you for your choices or mourn lost time and opportunity? True discipline bridges the gap between intention and reality. In practice, discipline is about the small daily decisions, the ones we make when nobody's watching. It's waking early to write, choosing real food over fast food, saving instead of splurging, and honoring commitments even when you'd rather not. Over time, these choices build the scaffolding of the life you want. Paradoxically, discipline expands your freedom. People without discipline are ruled by impulses, distractions, and fleeting desires. They might indulge in the short term, but soon find themselves trapped by debt, by bad habits, by regret. The disciplined person who acts with foresight enjoys the liberty to pursue their dreams and respond to life's uncertainties with resilience. James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, describes the power of tiny, consistent actions. By focusing on systems instead of outcomes, discipline becomes less about force and more about flow, a natural outgrowth of deciding what matters. Self-discipline is also an act of kindness to your future self. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen trust in your own ability to shape your life. This self-trust is the soil from which confidence and contentment grow. Of course, nobody is perfect. Discipline is not about never faltering, but about getting back on course. When you slip, don't surrender to shame. Instead, reflect, learn, and reset your course. Progress is always possible. Start small. Choose one area to exercise discipline: a morning routine, a budgeting habit, a daily walk. Celebrate each victory. Over time, these actions compound, transforming not just your outcomes, but your identity. In the end, self-discipline is the lever that moves your life in the direction of your deepest hopes. Embrace it as your most loyal ally, and discover in its embrace a freedom far richer than any fleeting pleasure. Truths 12. Change is the only constant. Change, it's been said, is life's only constant. Yet so often we greet it with resistance, anxiety, or even fear. Why? Because the familiar, even if flawed, feels safer than the unknown. Yet every season of growth in your life, every joyful milestone, every hard-won lesson has depended on your ability to adapt and embrace change. From the moment we are born, change is our closest companion. We grow, learn, lose, and start again. Our circumstances shift, jobs come and go, relationships evolve, and health waxes and wanes. Nature itself models this truth in constant renewal. The leaf turning gold, the river carving new courses, the child becoming an adult. But if change is inevitable, why not welcome it? The answer is simple: fear of loss. We fear losing comfort, control, or identity. Yet, if we look closer, almost all real growth asks us to let go before we can receive something new. Think of the caterpillar. Only by letting go of its old form does it become a butterfly. So too, must we allow our old beliefs, habits, or relationships to shift so that something new can emerge. Psychologists call this adaptive resilience, the ability not just to endure change, but to be strengthened by it. Here's how to nurture that mindset. See change as opportunity. Try to view every transition as a doorway. What is life asking you to learn? Which doors might be opening? Even unwanted change can teach patience, humility, or new skills. Anchor yourself in values. When circumstances swirl, your values are your anchor. What matters most to you? Integrity, kindness, family, curiosity. Let these guide your choices as you navigate change. Practice flexibility. Rigid expectations make change painful. Flexibility, like a tree bending in the wind, lets you move with life's currents without breaking. 4. Grieve and grow. It's okay to mourn what's lost, even as you anticipate what's next. Growth rarely happens without some sadness for the familiar. Celebrate evolution. Look back at who you were 5 years ago. Notice the gifts that came through change. Wisdom gained, new friendships, unique experiences. When you stop resisting change and start partnering with it, you turn life's unknowns into adventures instead of threats. The more you say yes to change, the more you learn, adapt, and discover, the richer and fuller your journey becomes. So as you face your own seasons of change, remember, this too is a chapter in your story. Embrace it with courage and curiosity, and trust that every change carries seeds of new possibility. Truths 13. Forgiveness sets you free. Forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood yet powerful forces in our lives. We often imagine forgiveness as something we grant others for their benefit, or even as an act that lets betrayers off the hook. In reality, forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, a gentle release from the heavy burdens of anger, resentment, and hurt. Why is forgiveness so hard? Because holding on to pain can feel protective. We fear that if we forgive, we will invite further hurt, or that our suffering will be minimized. But the truth is, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and hoping someone else gets sick. It slowly erodes our peace, our relationships, even our health. Think of your own life. Are there old wounds, words unspoken, apologies unoffered that still haunt you? Do you replay past hurts, hoping for a different ending? Studies have shown that unresolved anger and resentment are linked to higher blood pressure, anxiety, and depression. Forgiving does not mean forgetting or excusing, but releasing your grip on the desire for retribution. Forgiveness can be a gradual process. It often starts with acknowledging your pain, grieving your losses, and affirming your worth. Sometimes it helps to write a letter, whether or not you send it, that expresses all you wish to say. Sometimes it means talking honestly with someone you trust. Other times, forgiveness is simply a silent decision made in your own heart. It's also important to practice self-forgiveness. Each of us has regrets, words we wish we could unsay, choices we would make differently if only we knew then what we know now. Holding on to self-judgment only keeps you trapped in the past. Instead, try to see your younger self with compassion, recognizing that mistakes are part of being human. Forgiveness ultimately is the doorway to freedom. It opens up space for hope, for new beginnings, for genuine peace. When you lay down your burdens, you find your hands and heart open, ready to receive the gifts life still wants to give. If you struggle with forgiveness, remember, it's not a one-time event, but a practice. Some days you may need to forgive anew. Lean on supportive friends, counselors, or spiritual practices as you walk this path. In forgiving, you do not erase the past, but you unchain your future. Let forgiveness set you free. Truths 14. Fear is an illusion. Courage is a choice. Fear, it masquerades as a warning. Yet often it is just an illusion, a shadow that grows larger the more we back away. Of course, fear has its uses. It keeps us safe, alerts us to danger. But much of the fear that rules our lives is not based on immediate threats, but on imagined scenarios, a possible failure, rejection, or pain. The challenge, then, is learning to see fear for what it is, information, not destiny. The greatest achievements and joys often wait just beyond our comfort zone. Past the threshold fear calls danger. History is filled with stories of ordinary people who felt afraid but acted anyway. This ultimately is courage, not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. If you look closer, you'll see that much of what we fear never happens. Worries about the future rarely come true. Fear shrinks as we approach it. It expands only when we turn away. So how can you cultivate courage, the kind that lets you pursue meaning, connection, and purpose, even when your heart pounds? Begin by naming your fear. When we bring it into the light, fear loses much of its power. Write down what you're afraid of. Get specific. Is it a failure, embarrassment, loss? Then challenge each fear. What is the likelihood of this happening? If it did, how would you cope? Who could help you? Practice small acts of bravery. Stand up for yourself in a meeting. Try something new. Voice an unpopular opinion. Each time you act in the presence of fear, your courage muscle grows stronger. Remember, mistakes and failures are simply proof that you're in the arena, trying. The only real failure is never to try at all. Connecting with others can also fortify courage. When you share your fears with a trusted friend, you discover you're not alone. Together, you can encourage each other to take healthy risks and celebrate victories. Visualization helps too. Picture your future self, bold, resilient, joyful, looking back. What would you regret more, trying and failing or never daring at all? Let fear be your guide, not away from but toward what truly matters. With each act of courage, you'll find your life expanding in unexpected ways. And in the end, you may see the scariest step is only the first. Truths 15. You can't please everyone and you shouldn't try. Are you familiar with the feeling of bending over backward to meet everyone's expectations? Saying yes when you mean no, biting your tongue to avoid conflict, or sacrificing your own needs for the sake of harmony? If so, you are not alone. Many of us grow up internalizing the belief that it is possible and necessary to be universally liked and accepted. Yet the pursuit of pleasing everyone is not only impossible, it's emotionally exhausting and ultimately self-defeating. People are diverse. They come with different backgrounds, beliefs, preferences, and perspectives. Someone might applaud your choices, while another might criticize the very same actions. The truth is, each person sees the world through a unique lens, shaped by their own experiences. Trying to mold yourself to fit every expectation is like chasing shadows, always intangible, always fleeting. Why do we try so hard to please? Often, the roots stretch deep into childhood. Perhaps approval meant safety or love, or perhaps rejection was met with disappointment or fear. Over time, these experiences can train us to seek validation outside ourselves. We learn to ignore our own voice in favor of others' opinions, leading to a life dictated by people-pleasing rather than authentic living. But what is the cost of this relentless quest to please? We lose connection with ourselves, our boundaries blur, and we find ourselves saying yes to things that drain us, all in an effort to avoid disapproval. The risk is not only burnout but also resentment toward others for their demands and toward ourselves for not honoring our own needs. The truth is liberating. You can't please everyone, and you shouldn't try. Your value isn't determined by how well you meet the shifting standards of others. You don't have to justify your worth through constant approval. Authenticity, not approval, is the path to fulfillment. So what does it mean to live authentically? It means knowing your values, listening to your own needs, and honoring your truth even when it is met with disagreement or disappointment. It means learning to say no with kindness and yes with conviction. It means recognizing that the only person whose life you can truly shape is your own. Of course, this doesn't mean disregarding the feelings of others or refusing to compromise in relationships. Empathy and connection are vital, but healthy boundaries are just as important. They are the invisible fences that protect your well-being. Boundaries do not shut people out. They bring clarity and respect to interactions. How do you begin the journey from people-pleasing to authenticity? Start with self-reflection. Ask yourself, where in my life am I saying yes when I mean no? What are the costs, emotionally, mentally, physically, of trying to fit in or be liked? Which relationships support my growth, and which ones seem to demand constant compromise? Next, practice assertiveness. This doesn't mean aggression or disregard for others. It means expressing your thoughts, needs, and feelings honestly and respectfully. Assertive communication is a skill that can be learned and strengthened over time. When you speak your truth, you invite others to know the real you, and you give yourself permission to live aligned with your values. You may encounter pushback. Not everyone will celebrate your shift away from people-pleasing. Some may express disappointment, confusion, or even anger. This is natural. Change often disrupts established patterns, but it also opens the door for healthier, more authentic connections. Remember, you are not responsible for other people's happiness. You cannot control how they perceive or respond to you. What you can control is your integrity, the commitment to yourself to honor your truth. And as you do so, you will find a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment, free from the exhausting chase for approval. In the end, the people who matter most are those who love you for who you truly are, not for the roles you play or the favors you do. When you stop trying to please everyone, you create space for genuine relationships, connections rooted in authenticity, trust, and mutual respect. As you reflect on this first truth, ask yourself, what would my life look like if I stopped trying to please everyone? How might I feel and who might I become? It's never too late to begin living in alignment with your authentic self. The journey starts with one courageous step, daring to be true to you. Truths 16. Knowledge is power, but wisdom is freedom. When we think about the journey of life, much emphasis is placed on the pursuit of knowledge. From early childhood, we're encouraged to learn, to consume facts, understand processes, and gather information. The belief that knowledge is power has long been a driving force behind humanity's quest for progress. We go to school, read books, listen to lectures, and chase down answers to the mysteries of the world, all in the name of becoming more informed, more capable, and ultimately more empowered. And there is truth in this. Knowledge is indeed a form of power. It enables us to solve problems, create opportunities, and navigate life's complexities. When we know better, we do better. Knowledge can illuminate paths that would otherwise remain shrouded in darkness, giving us confidence and control in an unpredictable world. For generations, those who possessed knowledge were revered, the sages, scholars, and innovators whose insights moved society forward. But the first truth I'd like to share is this: as valuable as knowledge may be, wisdom is even more precious, for wisdom is freedom. Knowledge is the accumulation of facts. Wisdom is knowing how and when to use them. Knowledge is finite, related to what is known and what can be learned. Wisdom is boundless, transcending data to touch the heart of meaning. While knowledge equips you with tools, wisdom teaches you which tools to use and, just as importantly, when to set them down. The journey from knowledge to wisdom is deeply personal. It can be found in quiet moments of reflection, in the lessons learned from painful experiences, and in the gentle guidance of our intuition. Wisdom comes from understanding the essence of things, not just knowing, but internalizing and living a truth until it becomes part of you. Let's consider a simple example. Suppose you know everything about nutrition, exercise, and wellness. You've read the books, watched the documentaries, and even attended workshops. Yet knowledge alone won't help you if you don't practice what you know. Wisdom is the voice that nudges you to take a walk when you're stressed or reminds you why. That extra hour of sleep is worth more than scrolling through social media. Wisdom often emerges from the humility of realizing we don't know everything, and that being open to learning is itself a form of freedom. Knowledge can make you powerful, but it can also make you rigid, build walls of certainty that limit your perspective. Wisdom breaks those walls, inviting curiosity and compassion. It frees you from the need to be right all the time, opening the doors to growth. In relationships, knowledge might help you understand communication theory or psychology. Wisdom, however, enables you to listen deeply, to hear not just the words, but the feelings behind them, and to respond with empathy. Wisdom is what helps you forgive, let go, and cherish each moment, even in adversity. In the grand scheme of things, wisdom is the liberator from the prison of ignorance and entitlement. It allows you to step back, see the bigger picture, and make decisions that honor your core values. Wisdom guides you to leave behind the obsession with having all the answers and to embrace the freedom of living authentically. If you want a life of fulfillment, seek wisdom after you seek knowledge. Read, learn, ask questions, but never stop reflecting, feeling, and applying what you gather in ways that are true to your soul. Invest as much energy in understanding why as you do in gathering how. Talk to those older than you, listen to stories not just for their facts, but for their meaning. Let experiences humble you, and always remain a student of life. Remember, knowledge fills your mind. Wisdom frees your spirit. Together they make for a magnificent life. This is the first truth I share as a foundation for all others to come. Truth 17, your mindset creates your reality. If there is one factor that shapes our experiences more than any other, it is mindset. Many people go through life believing that circumstances determine happiness, that luck or fate dictates success. But research and experience tell a different story. It is not just what happens to you, but how you interpret and respond to those events that create your reality. Mindset is the lens through which you view the world. It colors your perceptions, influences your decisions, and determines the limits or the possibilities of your life. There are two primary mindsets, the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. A fixed mindset believes that qualities such as intelligence, talent, and worth are static, unchangeable. In contrast, a growth mindset sees potential everywhere. It recognizes that skills can be developed and failure is merely a stepping stone to success. Consider the way you react to setbacks. With a fixed mindset, a failure signals inadequacy, a reason to give up or shy away. With a growth mindset, the same setback is an opportunity to learn, adapt, and try again. The shift in perspective is subtle yet profound. It transforms obstacles into opportunities, criticism into feedback, and uncertainty into possibility. The power of mindset can be seen in every area of life, from career to relationships to well-being. When you approach challenges with curiosity, resilience, and a willingness to learn, You unlock doors that would otherwise remain closed. You become the author of your own story, not a passive recipient of fate. But how do you cultivate a mindset that serves you? The first step is awareness. Begin to notice your inner dialogue, the quiet voice that narrates your life. Is it filled with doubt and negativity, or with possibility and hope? Are you quick to judge yourself, or do you offer grace and patience? Next, challenge limiting beliefs. Often, our mindsets are shaped by old stories or unexamined assumptions. I'm not good enough. This will never work. I always fail. These beliefs may have taken root long ago, but they do not have to determine your future. Start to question them. Ask, is this really true? What evidence do I have? What else could be possible? Reframing your thoughts is a powerful tool for transformation. Practice gratitude. It's easy to focus on what's lacking or what's gone wrong, but intentionally shifting your attention to what is abundant and right can change everything. Gratitude rewires the brain for positivity, increasing resilience and reducing stress. Try beginning each day by naming 3 things you're grateful for. Over time, this simple practice can reorient your mindset toward possibility. Seek out inspiration and growth. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, who believe in your potential, and encourage you to stretch beyond comfort. Read books, listen to podcasts, attend workshops. Continual learning is the hallmark of a growth mindset. Remember that setbacks and failures are not endpoints, but lessons. Each mistake is rich with information, guiding you toward greater wisdom and skill. Be gentle with yourself in moments of disappointment. Ask what can I learn? How can I grow? This attitude transforms defeat into progress. Finally, cultivate self-compassion. Mindset is not just about optimism. It's about knowing that you are worthy, capable, and resilient. Speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend, encouraging, supportive, and loving. When self-doubt creeps in, remind yourself that your journey is unique and your possibilities are endless. Your mindset truly does create your reality. Choose to view each moment as a possibility, each challenge as an invitation to learn, and each day as a new chapter waiting to be written. In doing so, you step into the driver's seat of your own life, empowered and free. Truths 18, giving is living, the joy of contribution. There is an ancient wisdom that says, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. In a world often focused on accumulation, more money, more possessions, it's easy to forget that the deepest fulfillment comes not from what we acquire, but from what we offer. Giving is not limited to material gifts. It includes time, attention, kindness, encouragement, and love. Each act of generosity, no matter how small, ripples outward, touching lives in ways we may never know. The simple act of listening to someone who is struggling, helping a friend move, volunteering your talents, or expressing appreciation can be transformative, both for the giver and the receiver. Why does giving bring joy? Psychologists call this the helper's high. Acts of kindness activate areas in the brain linked to pleasure, trust, and social connection. Researchers have found that those who give regularly, whether through volunteering or daily gestures, report higher levels of happiness and life satisfaction. Giving fosters a sense of meaning, purpose, and belonging. Yet in the busyness of life, we sometimes lose sight of this truth. We become focused on our own needs, worries, and aspirations. But the paradox of generosity is that the more we give, the richer we feel. Contribution is not about depleting yourself. It's about expanding your capacity for love, empathy, and connection. Giving also fosters resilience. When we reach out to help others, we cultivate perspective. Our own struggles become more manageable in the light of someone else's needs. Compassion allows us to see the common humanity in every person, to recognize that we are all navigating challenges, hopes, and dreams. Contribution is not about grandeur, it is about presence. Some of the most powerful gifts are unseen. An encouraging word, a smile, a hand on the shoulder. These acts signal you matter. You are seen and valued. In a world where loneliness is rising, simple acts of kindness can be a lifeline. If you feel invisible, unworthy, or disconnected, try giving. Step outside your own concerns, even for a moment, and ask, how can I make someone's day brighter? The act itself is healing, connecting you to a sense of purpose greater than yourself. It's important to give from a place of abundance, not obligation. Giving out of guilt or duty can lead to resentment and fatigue. Instead, tune into what brings you joy. What are your unique gifts, talents, and passions? How can you share them in ways that lift others and energize you? Also, be open to receiving. Contribution is a two-way street. Allow others to help, encourage, and support you. Accepting kindness honors the giver and strengthens the bonds of connection. If you wonder how to start, begin small. Offer a compliment, lend an ear, express gratitude. Volunteer for a cause that resonates with you. Share your knowledge or skills with those who need them. As you make giving a habit, notice how your heart expands and your life becomes richer. In the end, the legacy we leave is not measured by what we own, but by the lives we touch. Giving is living, and the joy of contribution is one of life's deepest rewards. Remember, every act of kindness matters, and you have the power to make a difference, one heartfelt gesture at a time. Truths 19. Inner peace is the greatest achievement. True achievement in life is often measured by outward milestones, degrees, promotions, accolades, wealth. But beneath the surface, there lies a quieter, deeper victory, inner peace. In a world swirling with uncertainty, busyness, and endless striving, inner peace is the place where the soul finds rest, clarity, and contentment. What exactly is inner peace? It is not the absence of difficulty, but the presence of calm amid chaos. It is the ability to stand in the center of the storm and remain anchored, knowing that wellness is not about circumstances, but about the attitudes and choices within. Inner peace emerges from acceptance. It is the willingness to face life as it is, with all its unpredictability, and stop resisting what cannot be changed. Acceptance frees us from the exhausting battle against reality. When we let go of the need to control everything or everyone, we create space for serenity to enter. It is cultivated through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of bringing full attention to the present moment without judgment. When you are mindful, you observe your thoughts and emotions with curiosity rather than criticism. You notice the breath, the sensations in your body, the rhythm of your own heart. This awareness creates space between reaction and response, allowing peace to grow. Gratitude is also a pathway to inner peace. By appreciating simple joys, a warm cup of tea, the laughter of children, the sunrise, you invite contentment into your days. Gratitude shifts focus from lack to abundance, training the heart to see beauty even in imperfection. Forgiveness is essential for peace. Holding on to resentment, anger, or regret is like carrying a heavy load wherever you go. Forgiveness is not forgetting or excusing harm, but releasing its grip on your spirit. You free yourself to live with an open heart, unburdened by the past. Inner peace is upheld by boundaries. By honoring your needs and protecting your energy, you create a sanctuary within. Boundaries are not walls. They are gates that allow what nourishes you in and keep what depletes you out. It is also nurtured by self-care. Take time to rest, nurture your body, engage in activities that delight you, and connect with nature. Even small rituals, a walk in the park, a soothing bath, moments of stillness, restore balance and harmony. Inner peace is not a destination, but a practice. Some days will be harder than others. Storms will come and go, but with each moment of awareness, each act of acceptance, gratitude, forgiveness, and care, you strengthen your foundation. You become less reactive to drama and more resilient when difficulties arise. When you prioritize inner peace, you become a beacon to others. The calm you cultivate shines outward, helping family, friends, and communities find steadiness in turbulent times. Your peace has power, a ripple effect that can soothe and heal. Reflect on what brings you peace. Notice the times you feel most at ease and cultivate those moments. Let go of the belief that peace is only possible when everything is perfect. Instead, choose peace within imperfection. In a noisy world, inner peace is the greatest achievement. It is the reward of a life lived with intention, awareness, and love. Let this truth guide you. Seek peace not in circumstances, but in your heart. Everything else follows. Truths 20. Live now. Tomorrow is never promised. If there is one certainty in life, it is its uncertainty. We plan, hope, and dream, imagining the future as a destination we'll someday reach. Yet tomorrow is never promised, and the only place we can ever truly live is now. Living in the present is a gift and a practice. It requires letting go of regrets about the past and worries about the future, anchoring your awareness in the unfolding moment. This does not mean ignoring responsibility or failing to plan ahead. It means embracing each day as the irreplaceable treasure it is, allowing yourself to actually experience life rather than simply pass through it. Why do so many of us struggle to live in the present? Our minds are often hijacked by what-ifs and if-only thoughts. Past disappointments haunt us. Future anxieties distract us. The consequence is that we miss today its beauty, its opportunities, its miracles. The truth is, life happens only in the present. Joy, love, connection, and growth must be experienced now, not postponed for some ideal tomorrow. If you wait for the perfect moment, when conditions are just right, or you feel ready, you may miss the richness of now. Living now means savoring simple pleasures, the way sunlight filters through your window in the morning, the sound of laughter, the flavor of a favorite meal, the touch of someone you love. It means being fully present with the people you care about, listening, and sharing authentically. It also means making choices that align with your values and desires today, rather than deferring your dreams out of fear or doubt. If you long to travel, learn, create, or connect, begin today, even with small steps. Life's greatest regrets often stem from the things we didn't do, the connections we didn't make, the risks we didn't take. Living in the now also involves forgiveness of yourself and others. Don't postpone reconciliation or apologies. Don't wait to express love, gratitude, or appreciation. Tomorrow may not come, but the opportunity to heal and connect is always present. Practice mindfulness to anchor yourself in the present. Attend to your senses. What do you see, hear, smell, taste, and feel right now? If your mind drifts, gently guide it back. Mindful living invites you to be the author of your days, awake to each breath, each encounter, each experience. Letting go of expectations for someday frees you to fully embrace today. There will always be challenges, unknowns, and things left undone. Instead of postponing happiness and meaning, choose to find them in what is here and who you are right now. If you struggle with regret or anxiety, remind yourself the past cannot be changed and the future is only a possibility. What matters is the life you live each moment. Forgive yourself for yesterday, trust yourself for tomorrow, and practice being fully alive today. In the end, life is not measured by the time we have, but by the moments we truly live. Celebrate this day with all its imperfections and treasures. Tomorrow is never promised, but today is yours. Make it count. If you found this video helpful, inspiring, or entertaining, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on future content. Your support means the world. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.